If you're looking to help achieve a more aggressive stance on your 2012 through 2018 Ram but without changing the wheels, well then adding Mammoth's 1.5-inch wheel spacers would certainly be one of the easiest ways to do so. Now these hub-centric spacers will be made from quality T6 billet aluminum and sold in pairs for right around 120 bucks. Now install, at least according to the site, is going to get a strong 1 out of 3 wrenches on the old difficulty meter, and I'd say maybe an hour of your time at absolute most, but as always guys, hang with me for a bit and we'll walk you through this job later in the video. So adding spacers is one of the easiest ways to either gain clearance for suspension or brake components or make for a much more aggressive stance. Now if I had to guess, most of the owners watching this video are far more interested in the whole offset or stance aspect as opposed to clearing a big brake kit, but whatever the case, the Mammoth spacers that we have here will help you in either situation. Now these particular options do feature a relatively aggressive 1.5-inch of spacing or roughly 38 millimeters of offset to your stock or aftermarket wheels. Now this will obviously help you achieve a more flush look with your factory wheels or allow you to go totally wild with a set of aftermarket wheels depending on your starting offset. Now the spacers have been made from high quality T6 billet aluminum before being anodized black and do feature the 5x139 bolt pattern found on all 12 to 18 trucks and that 50 millimeter hub size as well, which just means there's no need for any additional hub-centric rings or anything like that. Now the spacers will bolt to your factory hubs thanks to the included hardware and will reuse the same M14x15 lug nuts that your factory lug nuts basically are, your same size I should say, and that's going to be torqued to 130 foot-pounds. But now we want to show you just what it takes to get a set of spacers installed on your Ram at home. So without further ado, check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown right now. Tools I use for this installation include a cordless impact gun, 19mm socket, 21mm socket, breaker bar, torque wrench, and a jack or a lift. All right guys, getting started here with our wheel spacer install today. I always like cracking the lugs loose first before getting the truck in the air. Just makes removal that much easier. We do have different lug nuts on our truck. They do come with a key, it's a spline key, so I'm gonna be using the key along with a 21mm socket. If you have stock lug nuts on the truck, it's just gonna be a 19mm socket. At this point, you can either get the truck on a lift if you have access, or in our case, we're just gonna use our floor jack here and jack it up in a safe location, basically somewhere on the frame rail, you'll be good to go. Get it up in the air high enough to get that front tire off the ground, and then we can start working on it. With the wheel and tire off the ground, never a bad idea to support the truck with a jack stand if you have one laying around. But once you have that ready to go, now we can remove our wheel and get to work installing our new spacer. I have a cordless impact along with my wheel key. We're gonna move that next. With our wheels removed, now we can get to work on installing our Mammoth spacers here, guys. Now they do include 5 new nuts to be used to secure the actual spacer to the hub here using your factory studs. And then at that point, you're just gonna reuse your factory or aftermarket lug nuts for the spacer itself. They also do include some red Loctite to be used on the factory studs and included nuts. If you want to, that's totally up to you. But since we are returning this vehicle back to stock after the install, we are not gonna use the Loctite here today. So just keep that in mind. So what do you say we get these installed? Also not a bad idea to throw a little bit of anti-seize here on the back of the spacer if and when you do ever want to remove these easily. get them on the studs. Then we're gonna start our 19mm nuts by hand, get them all in place. With our hardware started, now I'm gonna grab my impact gun and just kind of run the hardware in. I'm not gonna go crazy tighten everything down yet because we do have to torque everything down to 135 foot-pounds in our next step. So again, grab your gun, just run it down, save your wrist a little bit of fatigue, if you will, and then we'll move on to our next step. We now have our torque wrench in hand, guys, again, set to 135 foot-pounds per the instructions. At this point, you can either have a buddy hold the brake pedal for you to keep the fronts from spinning here. If you're a one-man band, you're working alone in the garage, you might need to get creative with a pry bar or something between the studs here just to hold everything in place. But I'm gonna grab a buddy, he's gonna hold the brake for me, and we'll get these torqued in a star pattern. With our spacer in place, now we can go ahead and reinstall our wheel, and we are going to torque that down as well. But first things first, let's get it in place. Same deal here, guys. Just start them by hand. We'll run them in with our gun, and then we'll torque them down to 135 foot-pounds per the instructions. Now we got a torque wrench again, 135 foot-pounds per the instructions. Got our buddy holding the brake. All right, with everything torqued, that's gonna wrap up this wheel and tire. Now, if you just bought one pair, go ahead and repeat that process on your second wheel. If you bought two pairs, repeat that process for the rest of your wheels and tires, and your installation is complete. Never a bad idea to recheck your torque after a couple hundred miles, just to be on the safe side. Guys, we hope you enjoyed this brief review and install of Mammoth's 1.5-inch black billet spacers, available for your 2012 to 2018 Ram at home. And keep in mind, for more cool products and videos like this, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.